pumpkin spice lattes, leaves changing color, jack-o'-lanterns, college girls in vests. That's right, guys. It is fall, and therefore we are going to be checking out The Fall of 76 by internet historian. Guys, it's Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, YouTuber, an occasional caffeine addict, and today we are checking out Fall of 76 by internet historian. This is the user voted video for this week, so let's get into it. Bethesda ruins. Damn, shots fired already. Whew. This is like an ambush, right? This is just no notice, shooting at Bethesda, taking shots right away. Pants exploded 0. Wait. There's a way to back this up. There we go. Just let's look at his Pip-Boy for a minute. Contracts completed 0. People mezzed 0. Pants exploded 0. No added. The fallout of 76.
If you found this tape, it means that everyone is dead. Or working at a different office. How did this happen? Well, I'll tell you.
How indeed.
Buckle up, buckaroos. Today's lesson is the misfired launch of Fallout 76.
Oh man, that song kind of slapped. I thought it was gonna keep going, you know? Get that fun jazz horn.
June 2018. It
I love how this was 3 years ago.
began with everyone getting just a little hyped up.
Have we waited long enough, guys?
Oh God, yes we have, Todd.
I think we have.
Fallout 76, Bethesda's biggest game yet. My God, it was exciting, and they promised we'd know more at E3.
Oh god, he's splicing in footage of people from the UK celebrating a football game. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Gonna trigger some people, so trigger warning. I think diehard sports fans are dumb. There you go. I said it. I think your local city's team doesn't care about you. They don't know who you are. They'll never care about you. All of their players are recruited from all over the world and paid a phenomenal sum of money to live near the stadium, but they do not care about your city, and they don't care about you, and they don't even represent your city. So why then you believe they deserve your loyalty, love, and respect is beyond me.
3. E3 hype time. The press conference. 16 times the detail.
16 times the detail. All new rendering, lighting, and landscape technology.
Wow, landscape technology. That sounds like a fertilizer that's going to make your grass even greener than your neighbors.
4 times the map size.
It is 4 times the size of Fallout 4.
Well, Fallout 4 is almost going to taking up all the space on my hard drive, so literally this game is already unplayable.
And it's our biggest one yet.
My God, it was exciting. November 14th, 2018. The game goes live with a day 1 patch of 50 gigabytes.
Jesus. I don't even know where I would buy an SSD large enough to to be able to purchase another Bethesda game, right? Because remember, Fallout 4 has a tremendous amount of patching that got added onto it. Oh, but it also still doesn't run well. So I need to download mods to get it to run properly, which are also big.
For fuck's sake.
So, next time I buy a Bethesda game, I just need to allocate, 100 gigs of space, i.e. an entire hard drive to the game.
I'll see you tomorrow.
But once that's downloaded, people start logging into the hellscape that is Fallout 76. And, oh dear lord, they never fix the bugs.
Oh man, is that movie about the kid who dies of getting stung by bees?
And there are so many of them. Goodbye world, goodbye necks, goodbye body, goodbye heads, bugs everywhere.
Okay, so all I'm hearing is it's Fallout 4 again.
Server crashes, game crashes, old bugs imported from Fallout 4. Use more than one nuke at a time, server's dead. Textures far too texturous, an all-consuming void. Error log 307.
I love how if there were real errors like this, real bugs, if the world was a simulation and we had bugs, right? One, it would look like all sorts of like the weird paranormal stories. Like an all-consuming void just walking towards you is like some eldritch horror stuff, you know? That's like the call of Cthulhu or the literal call of the void.
Can't pick up
Or like a UFO, right? Makes perfect sense, you know? The like weird Slender Man looks like a misrendered person.
stuff, can't stop asserting dominance with a T-pose, frame rate problems, screen tear problems, getting too swole, getting underneath the map, getting attacked by
Had that happen on Fallout 4. Fell right through a subway.
invisible enemies, spawning too many enemies,
It kind of speaks for itself.
spawning too many god rays. Also, your camp resets after every session, and sometimes it goes underwater. Holotapes randomly play static, but too many holotapes mean none of them will play. Enemy AI is far more A than I. Animations are broken. Surprise! Floating objects and a traveling merchant. Just to name a few. Joseph Anderson has a great video that documents just the ones that he found personally. That video is 3 hours long.
Whew. That's peak content right there.
But it gets worse. Error CE348780 can corrupt your data and force you to reinstall the game and console operating system.
Oh my god.
A few PC players had their computers brick entirely. Also, when the date rolled over to the 1st of January 2019, the nukes in the game stopped working altogether. No one thought it prudent to program in other years in an always online game.
Wow. I mean, this is just a case study that a AAA studio sometimes is also terrible. What I think is really sort of patently offensive is that they spent so much money on marketing swag, right? It's Bethesda and Fallout, it seems like maybe they're turning into the Games Workshop franchise, where Games Workshop, right, who owns the Warhammer 40K IP, they are increasingly taking just total garbage games, garbage merchandise, just garbage anything, and slapping their IP on it, slapping basically an Ultramarine on it, because that's the only IP that they will market, right? And they will then shill that to customers, knowing that a certain percentage of Warhammer fans will purchase anything branded Warhammer 40K. Of course, the result is that they spend basically all of their time marketing and none of their time doing, well, frankly, anything else, like developing a good game. You know, the last really good game was Space Marine in 2010, and even that was like good, but it's, 16 hours of gameplay maybe?
And a few players were straight up logging into other people's accounts. This guy had a level 78 character that was randomly replaced with a level 8 character.
How dare they?
Bethesda said they couldn't do anything about it. And many players are not thrilled with this game, and they want Bethesda to know that. And they want everyone else to know that too. But Bethesda owns the platform. Is Fallout 76 fun?
Yes, it is. Banned for racism. Thread locked.
They had no direct outlet for their rage. The only solution was to put a torch to everything else. Reddit, Twitter, Bethesda's other games on Steam. The backlash was immense. But surely level heads would prevail. The reviewers would come out and say that the game isn't so bad. Oh dear lord, they hated it. This is so sad. Despacito, play Country Roads.
Don't you dare get me copyright claimed, Internet Historian, so help me God.
Almost heaven,
This is a pretty terrible cover.
West Virginia,
I'm gonna get copyright claimed. Well, buckle up.
Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
And the YouTube community had this to say.
It's really boring.
Could barely bring myself to play it in order to finish this review.
No one on staff wants to play any more of this video game. I'm not going to subject myself to another 20, 30 hours of this fucking mess.
In short, Fallout 76 is morally, technically, and creatively bankrupt.
The mods on Bethesda
Damn. That's like a commentary on you as a person.
forums were working overtime. The mods on Reddit almost gave up. Look, I'm not saying that some people didn't enjoy and have fun with this game. But what I am saying is that the Metacritic was really funny to read. So what happened? Well, it came out that development was hugely rushed. The deadlines were tight. Too tight.
Okay, guys.
Plus, this wasn't Bethesda's A-team. It's actually a relatively inexperienced division based in Austin, and the scope of...
That's funny. Okay, so the joke there is, in fact, I think the actual specific location... nope.
Plus, this wasn't Bethesda's A-team.
Okay.
It's actually a relatively inexperienced division.
Okay, so what's interesting there about that map of Austin is that B-Team is actually the name of the gym of legendary jiu-jitsu person Craig Jones. Legendary jiu-jitsu troll, let's be honest. Craig Jones is a brilliant troll, but like a good-natured troll, right? Like, he has a rash guard that says OnlyFans because he has an OnlyFans. There's nothing explicit on it, it's just an OnlyFans. But anyway, that's the location of his new school, which is called, ironically, the B-Team. That's it. That's all I had.
Based in Austin, and the scope of the game kept getting bigger.
We're gonna need distant weather systems.
Hey Todd, I stayed up all night and I just finished.
We're gonna need 16 times the detail.
Please, Todd, no more.
We're gonna need 4 times the size of Fallout 4.
That, and they were trying to patchwork the old Bethesda creation engine into a multiplayer framework. What else could you expect?
That's why I give my kids
Fallout 76.
a fool.
Now, Bethesda could tolerate the bugs and the bad reviews and the irate players, but what they couldn't tolerate were the exploits. Infinite inventory, infinite invisibility. The frame rate was tied to the game speed, so people were going a lot faster than they should. Server hopping for more items, infinite cache and infinite duplication, unlimited XP, unlimited nuking. The nuclear codes were unencrypted and you could wall clip into the quest room. And someone was given the curse of infinite invincibility.
Ooh. See, it's like, it's the curse, man. What happened? How could a game be fun if you cannot die? Right? You have to have consequences. You must. Only the fear of death forces man to create. Without that, we would become like the trees, stagnant, unending, still, creatively.
Naturally, this can really mess with other players' online experience. So Bethesda was ready, with the ban hammer,
This just works.
and a blindfold to wildly flail around and take down anyone who happened by. But Bethesda wasn't satisfied with just banning people. No, they're a progressive company with big ideas. They wanted to give a road to redemption. So support sent out this email to players caught cheating. We would be willing to accept an essay on why the use of third-party cheat software is detrimental to an online game community. That's right.
That is the most patronizing shit I have ever heard in my entire life.
500 words on why you're a very naughty boy, and they may just give you your account back. But a couple of days later, the mocking from news outlets caused them to reconsider this approach. One more exploit. In all the Bethesda games, there's a dev room. Every item in the game is kept here. Security has to be top-notch, because otherwise, someone could just waltz in and take all of the best items in the game, and it would be an absolute disaster. Well, shit. Of course, Bethesda wasn't equipped to deal with the issue. People started flooding in, taking the best items in the game, then selling those items on a black market.
Oh, God bless capitalism. Anyone who tells you capitalism's ruined this country, there's your proof that it's not. Somebody hacked an item and sold it to others on the black market. That's peak arbitrage.
Of sorts. At first, they tried the usual approach, banning people who had some of the best items in the game. You spent 700 hours just to get the best gun? Die, cheater! Next, they put in a system where players would get tagged if they ever entered the room, and they banned those players. That wasn't much better because people would just start using Smurf accounts. Get in quick with a level 1 account. Get all that good shit. Then get the fuck out.
I love how it labels him a level 1 thug, like all those terrible mobile game commercials that are like level 1 thug, level 99 gangster. Like, okay, dude, anyone who's seen a gangster movie or, lives in reality knows that you're not like a clownfish, right? That like when you become the alpha male by eating all of your rivals, you are huge. I don't know if that's how clownfish work, but it'd be pretty funny if they did. The point is, human beings don't actually get bigger the more authority they get.
Then use a duplication glitch to get a ton more of those items. Then transfer that stuff to your main account and you're good to go. Bethesda then takes out this level 1 and calls it mission accomplished. And you've just beaten the game.
That's actually not too different from how DTOs operate. That's drug trafficking organizations. And that's why, of course, they use drug mules, because if they get caught, they're expendable. In fact, sometimes they will intentionally rat out their own mules so that they get caught expressly to divert law enforcement to not be around when the real shipment passes through. This is common. This is stuff out of Narcos, by the way. I'm not sharing some top secret intel here. The point is that it's fascinating when that there's nothing new under the sun, right? When the incentives are there, people figure out ways to solve these problems in the same basic creative ways.
So the problem continued. Bethesda is running out of ideas to solve it. There's a lot of speculation in the media and among players about how exactly people are getting in, but no one except for the exploiters knows for sure. That said, Bethesda needs to act fast before it ruins the economy of the game. So they wrote another email and sent it out to the Smurfs. Hello, Cheetah. Do you want to tell us how you did it, and we might unban you, please? Should we not hear back from you, the account will simply remain suspended. It's not known whether this approach worked, but from what I've seen, it's still possible to get into the dev room. November 22nd, 2018. Just a week after the release, the game goes on discount. From $60 to $40, to $35, to $30. You can find it for $15 on eBay, and in Germany, they're straight up giving it for free when you buy a PlayStation controller.
Wow.
Also, some stores are just zip-tying it to other products. But to Bethesda, it's worth selling the thing at a price close to zero, because it brings people into the atomic shop, which is where the real margins are. And
I hate item shops. I hate in-game transactions.
It inflates the...
So for those of you that don't know, those, mobile games, right, that are pay to win, people kind of roast on them all the time, but they depend on this mechanic, as do a lot of free-to-play games, right? And in fact, one of the games that I love more than any other, MechWarrior Online, follows this exact mechanic, where they have a large, robust free-to-play economy, and then they are sustained by a subset of players that spend real-world money on mech packs and cosmetics. And within that subset, right, the vast majority of people spend less than $100 a year. But a small subset will spend over, several hundred to $1,000 a year. And those are basically the people the game is designed for, right, to extract money from that tiny, rich subset. And though, because they need to have a good gaming experience, they have to have people to play with, right? We can't just have the 100 whale players who spend all that money just fight each other, right? They'll never get any good matches. So you have to have this robust, free-to-play, ecosystem that they can engage in. And that sounds like what they're trying to do here with Fallout 76. Make it as close to free as possible on the hopes that, 1 in every 1,000 players will be that whale who spends $500 at the item shop.
Poor sales figures. Let's have a look at those. The latest figures show 76 sold less than a sixth of what Fallout 4 did. Not good. There's also been a massive oversupply of hard copies. Although, what's the...
Yeah, that in 2018, you're selling hard copies? Like, what? My PlayStation, 3 downloads games online. I don't even think it has an input drive. Who was buying this and sticking it into their machine?
Point of a hard copy when the thing is just a cardboard disc telling you to redeem an online code.
Yeah, that Mother Nature is sobbing profusely at the thought that we produced these copies. Remember, so you bought this plastic, you stamped it, you stuck some paper in it, right? Then you took those hard copies and you shipped them all over the country on the back of a truck. You had some poor, miserable employee who's underpaid stack them on shelves. Then you made a person drive to their local GameStop or Best Buy, purchase that piece of plastic, right? Then drive back to their home, open it up, all to get a 16-digit code that they just plugged in to their machine. That is a joke and sort of a tragic waste of time and resources.
And while sales are low, returns are high. Immediately upon release, people began asking Bethesda for a refund. 76 is not on Steam, it's on Bethesda's own platform.
Oh, and the own platform. Oh my god. I hate own platforms. God, Steam. Oh. This is the same thing that's happening to streaming, where you go all in. You make your flagship show or your flagship game, you release it on your own proprietary platform to force people to get it, but nobody's going to buy any other game on that platform. I guarantee it, right? Origin, the platform, I have 2 games on it. I have Alpha Centauri, which is great, by the way, but made in the year 1999, and then I bought Apex Legends when it first came out and was somehow, despite playing it the first week of its existence, I was already terrible at it and getting smoked by sweaty 14-year-olds. So I didn't want any part of that. But now I have this stupid Origin sitting on my computer, stealing my data, right? Collecting whatever. They have my credit card info. It just aggravates me for no reason. You could have sold it on Steam, right? Had one platform for everybody else.
So they have all the control. If players only played the game for a few hours, then generally they'd get their money back. However, it came out that people were sometimes getting refunds after a full 24 hours of play. Quite generous. But then word about this spread to forums. Then to Reddit, and a post got 12,500 upvotes informing people that this made pretty much everyone eligible for a refund, and the comments told them exactly how to do it. Bethesda was flooded with requests for refunds. And their response? Shut it down, lads. No one gets a refund now. Everyone go home. Show's over. Robot customer service man engage.
Customers who have downloaded the game are not eligible for a refund. We apologize for the inconvenience. Die.
Okay, so here's one of the big differences I think that you get is when you look at No Man's Sky, right? Hello Games, small indie studio. And while they're a business and they have some investors, i.e. Sony, they themselves are not they're not a corporation. They're not controlled by corporations. They're controlled by the devs. Bethesda seems like it is a corporate entity. And the problem is with corporate entities, one, they have a legal mandate, though it's tough to enforce, that all decisions must be for the best, for the good of the business, right? And usually in practice, that means that investors need to see returns on their money quarter by quarter, right? And so what that means is that if you are developing Fallout 76 and the development is really botched, right, a developer might say, hey, we have a moral obligation to take this project that I've poured my blood, sweat, and tears into and make it something good or do right by the fans, because that's who we serve, right? But if you serve only your shareholders who, right, maybe the best business decision is to follow the Hello Games model of acknowledge your failures and work to repair them over time. But if you're Bethesda, your investors aren't willing to wait an entire fiscal quarter for you to work for free to create a playable patch, right? Certainly they won't let you work for a year to create a playable patch, to patch your game up. So they need to see within every 90 days you're posting profits, which means that even though it may be the long-term right call for your brand to issue refunds and an apology, unless you have a way to get more money back within 90 days, your investors are going to be pissed.
A few things followed. First, people got mad. One hardcore gamer even trashed a GameStop for refusing his refund.
That's not a good decision. GameStop didn't buy or sell that game. Oh, it sold it, but that GameStop didn't develop the game.
Thank you for calling GameStop. This is Brian. How can I help you?
A bit of an overreaction, but probably was.
Hand it over to see. Yeah, allegations of it being fake. It seems pretty fake.
So fake. Second, the media. And third, a class action lawsuit. Their inconsistent refund policy and terms of service may not be strictly legal. November 20.
That's okay. I just want to point this out. This is true of a lot of employment contracts and a lot of purchase contracts. Their legality, you can put anything you want in a contract. You can enforce it or not, right? Its legality has to be determined by a court. So, what does that mean? That means that unless you can afford a lawyer and you can beat their lawyers, right? Who can, of course, probably, if they're a big corporation, file dozens, maybe hundreds of motions to delay or appeal or demand increasingly onerous documentation requirements, anything to delay the lawsuit, right? Unless you can bankroll that for years, it doesn't matter if what the contract says is illegal if you can't ever get your day in court to prove it.
27th, 2018. Miglatio and Rathod LLP filed a class action suit on behalf of customers. Media quickly picked up on that. Their main argument is that it's a sometimes unplayable game owing to its technical problems, then they're refusing refunds, and that Bethesda is engaged in a strategy to release it anyway and then slowly patch their way into a more playable state. Updates on this lawsuit are slow, so I'll keep you informed on the second channel.
Interesting, yeah. So here's the other advantage though. If you win, sometimes you get attorney's fees awarded. That's how, remember when in the US, the credit companies were hacked and all of our data got leaked? And then there was a settlement that was supposed to, compensate you for having all of your data handed over to criminals through the company's negligence. But you never actually saw any of that money. Instead, you were offered a discount on a private credit protection service, which a coupon isn't really the same thing as actual compensation. It's just you spending money with extra steps. But the reason nobody got that money is because, one, some actors who were damaged more badly were given priority, but a lot of it was because they had to pay out the suing attorney's fees. And because there were so many lawyers and those firms that did the lawsuit had to be so big that their attorney's fees racked up into probably the tens of millions of dollars, which is not that hard to do. Remember, even a junior lawyer at a big law firm will have to charge, $200, $300, $400 an hour for work. And sometimes that work is literally, did you read every single document that they gave you in discovery? Why, yes, I did. So, yeah, it's often these things are cash grabs by enterprising, we'll say, law firms.
Ad time. Look, there's a meteor headed straight to Earth. Oh my god. We must do something. Was anyone curious enough to read about it online? Not me. Not me either. Nope. Oh no. Now people think I'm dumb and I have died a virgin.
What? Where did that come from?
Don't let this happen to you. Get Curiosity Stream. It's a streaming platform with some of the best documentaries and non-fiction from around the world.
Wow, did not see that plot twist coming.
Partial nudity? Maybe if you look hard enough. But more importantly, the most arousing thing of all. Knowledge. Works for your Roku, Android, etc., etc. It works on everything, okay? Science, nature, history, tech, society.
Society. We live in a society.
CuriosityStream.com/Internet Historian for unlimited access to the world's free top documentaries and non-fiction series. Use the promo code Internet Historian during the sign-up process to get the first 30 days free, then cancel any time. Wink. Please, look, I need sponsors. I bought a lifetime supply of toilet paper thinking I was saving money, but then I left it out in the rain and the crows got it, and now I'm back to square one.
The crows.
Please, curiositystream.com/Internet Historian. Ads over. Let's rewind a little bit.
Did not see that coming. Nice one.
For
Also, apologies to Curiosity Stream. I know. I try to skip the ads. I sort of got stumbled into it. I kind of missed it. That's because I skip ads, not because I don't like him. That was pretty funny. But because often people want to associate their brand with certain types of content and not with others. And the fact that my content is, like it or not, expressly branded to be oriented towards military, war, combat, those are things that a lot of brands don't want to be associated with them. So by letting their ad be displayed on my channel, right, I have potentially gone against their intention with instead reaching out to someone like Internet Historian.
Fallout fans made their pre-orders, and the most dedicated pre-ordered the Power Armor Edition. Wow. It came with a helmet, box, map, army toys, and a genuine West Tech canvas bag. Fast forward to the release, and customers noticed that their precious bags, which are supposed to be made of the finest canvas in the land,
Yummy.
look a bit different.
Bruh.
In fact, it looks like a carry bag the real bag should come in.
Bruh.
Did they really just advertise one thing and deliver another?
No, Bethesda, no.
You can't do that. So there was a surge of backlash, and people began emailing Bethesda, asking for refunds, asking for answers. By this point,
Okay, this is one of those things that I think is actually really funny. And I think you see it a lot nowadays, actually. And that is this effect where there's a straw that breaks the camel's back, right? A problem that is minor in the grand scheme of things becomes a symbol, a flashpoint of a larger frustration, right? And it's like that. You ever seen electrolysis, right? It's where you basically dissolve a metal in a liquid, you electrify the water, and then you dip in the thing you want to get plated in that material. And what happens is that the electricity creates this state of potential where the particles, the metal particles, want to just grab onto something so bad. There's so much energy coursing through the water. And it isn't until you dip in that metal object that it all just right onto it, right? And that happens, it's been happening, I think, a lot lately, where people have a general frustration with things and they either correctly identify like a singular manifestation of that problem, or they misidentify it as something else, right? They get upset over a different instance. And this, I think, is a perfect illustration of that, right? Are they really upset about the canvas bag being nylon? I mean, if Fallout 76 was awesome, if it was a top-notch game and the rest of the player experience was great and people got their value for it and they really felt like they connected with the community, the nylon bag would be a throwaway. But there were so many other issues that, like the final FU, that even the promotional material, the one thing that Bethesda funded properly, was still cutting corners and trying to squeeze a little bit of extra money out of the fans, was just the thing that just galvanized it. You know, it's fascinating to see how people can sort of subconsciously understand it, even if they weren't like explicitly aware, right? Like the people who were upset about this might not have been able to articulate that, hey, I'm upset because this game let me down on so many levels and this is the last straw. They may have just been like, wow, I am really upset with this bag that I paid a ton of money for, you know?
Customer service is absolutely over it. They are done with the facade, and they send this email in response.
That's pretty dark.
Hello. We are sorry that you aren't happy with the bag. The bag shown in the media was a prototype and was too expensive to make. We aren't planning on doing anything about it.
It wasn't too expensive. It wasn't too expensive, man. That stuff is possible and affordable to make. It just was too expensive for them to do it and still meet their investors' forecast for quarterly profits.
That's the whole email. Staff at Bethesda aren't even hiding their contempt anymore. Naturally, the internet goes wild.
Are you fucking kidding me? Wow. Wow. Well, I got so mad, I shaved everything off my face.
Okay, guys, this is a bit of a PR nightmare. We have to quell the outrage. What do we do? Well, we've got this in-game currency. Let's just give them the minimum amount of that. Fantastic idea. Hear ye, hear ye. Anyone who paid $200 to $300 for the
$200 to $300? Damn, that's like Gucci. That's like Gucci clothes, man.
Power Armor Edition is hereby entitled to $5 worth of in-game currency that you'll be able to spend with us.
That's a coupon. The word you're looking for is a coupon.
500 atoms? Fuck yeah! What are you gonna do with your atoms? I'm gonna buy 5/18 of the white paint version of the power armor. Whoa! What about you? Lightwood laminate, lightwood laminate, lightwood laminate. Fuck the bag! He's right! Fuck the bag! Lightwood laminate, lightwood laminate, lightwood laminate.
Lightwood laminate.
Lightwood laminate, lightwood laminate.
Hey man, listen. Those laminate floors, that's quality. Get that in your house, those spills clean right up.
Of course, this was Bethesda's fantasy of what would happen. What really happened is further outrage, and even the media started piling on.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
It even became part of that class action lawsuit from earlier. Bethesda put out a tweet apologizing for their curt customer service and gave a different excuse for why they didn't make the bags. A shortage of material, apparently.
Yes, a shortage of material within their budget.
That was quickly debunked. Because it turns out they did make the canvas bag, except they gave them all out to influencers. Oh dear. It's not the same one, of course, but it's sourced from that ever-scarce material, canvas. But what's more amusing is that it turns out there is a canvas bag in the game. If you don the postman's outfit, which of course can be found at the Atom Shop, for 700 atoms. Ooh, just short. Well, the bleating from the online community continued, and Bethesda's lawyers realized there would be trouble, so they decided to capitulate. Alright, fine, we'll make your precious fucking bag. If you want to claim it, you'll have to fill out this form with your name, personal details, address, etc., etc.
Oh, that's my other favorite part. Remember... Okay, hold on.
And we'll ship out the bag to you in 4 to 6 months.
So this is another way that really corporations, governments, anybody screws you, right? And that is adding an onerous administrative burden, right? I'm just going to point this out. Look at Amazon. Look how easy it is for Amazon to get you to spend money. Their goal is to make it as easy as humanly possible. Every click The science shows you lose about, on average, a third of your viewers every time you make them click something. So if someone wants to purchase a refrigerator on Amazon and they have to click 1, 2, 3 times, then you're going to have lost, you got to do the math, a third and then a third of that and a third of that. So I don't know, what's that? You'll have lost 60% of your potential buyers, right? That's sort of how these things go on average, right? It's going to be, you're going to lose more for more impulsive items like snacks, or those delicious Japanese peanuts, which if you've never had, the snack food, friends. It is the snack food, bar none. And Amazon has a 5-pound bag of them. And I'm forbidden from ordering them. It got so bad. Anyway, doesn't matter. The point is that you can imagine then, if a meager click defers a third of people, then what will one entire form do? Probably will deter, I'm going to say, half of people. So think about when the government or an organization, when you want to return, right? Do you ever notice how when you have to return something, or you want a corporation to provide a service to you, usually one you've already paid for, that it's free or discounted or whatever, but the burden of paperwork is really onerous. It requires multiple forms. It requires you to physically visit a location. It requires you to print something out, right? Especially if it's something that's like inaccessible. All those things are not accidents. Those things can be designed to be free and easily accessible, but the corporation or government agency knows that it is hard, that every hurdle you put stops more and more people from doing it, right? This is, again, sort of like the contract enforcement, where if your goal is to never get called out on your illegal contract, then you deliberately create a system or make them adjudicate it within a system that requires expensive lawyers, multiple filings, and just a military grade paperwork cage, functionally, that means you will never actually be able to find your way out of it.
But it doesn't quite end there. Because Bethesda is known for bugs, and of course their website is a buggy mess too. Turns out all of the customer support inquiries are unsecure and open to the public. In fact, people can open and close and change them at will. Listed are details of full legal names, phone numbers, home addresses, and more. If you've requested your canvas bag, you've just been doxxed. Whee! Not knowing how to immediately fix the problem, Bethesda panics and temporarily shuts down the whole website. And that is the tale of the duffel kerfuffle.
Good one. Good one.
How could this have been so difficult? They made one for New Vegas. One last...
What's funny is, I think you could probably just go on like Etsy, which has, by the way, everything you could ever want to buy. All my old military surplus hats, those are all from Etsy. They're shipped to me from the Ukraine. From Ukraine, right? And the sellers are always great. Professional, polite. I mean, obviously I go with ones that have a lot of reviews and stuff. Yeah. That's so much easier.
Last piece of merch. A rum drink. Nuka-Cola Dark. Pre-orders available in September. Shipped out on November 14th. $80 plus postage and handling. Not cheap.
To give you an idea, guys, $80 is the highest end Japanese whiskey that I can find in my admittedly United States government-sanctioned liquor store.
But in return, you got a very cool bootle. Looks good on the shelf. A great conversation piece with the family over Thanksgiving. Or at least it would have been. November 14th came and went, and there was no rum. Okay. A week later, on November 21st, an email comes through. There's a delay. Things aren't up to the usual Fallout standard, they say. The usual Fallout standard.
All of this just works.
Things aren't up to the usual Fallout standard. So we'll have it for you soon. No specific date given.
1 week later.
Nothing. Then on December 5th, another email. Good news. We start shipping on December 12th. It's been nearly 3 months.
You see that? It said rum with natural flavors and a caramel color. One, this sort of gimmicky branded rum. Have you noticed that celebrities, like en masse, are releasing alcoholic drinks? I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I think what it is that they've realized that their own brand can carry a drink because most drinkers are just not discerning people. And so look at Conor McGregor's Proper 12 whiskey. It sucks. It tastes like some sort of rubber plant like byproduct. And it's got this added color, right? Because it's mass produced. It's produced in a factory as fast as they can do it. And then branded with Conor McGregor's like label. But real whiskey, right, when it's distilled, is clear. You can actually look up the channel, I think it's called like Colonial History or Living History or something. They do a tour of a still running authentic colonial distillery. And its whiskey is perfectly clear when it's first out of the still. The dark colors traditionally come from a long period in storage in a barrel. But of course, now that people associate that dark color with high-end whiskey, they add chemical colors to give it that effect. Now, obviously, to create a dye that remains intact, doesn't settle or dissolve out of an alcohol, is a little bit of a chemical process, and it really adds a nice chemical flavor to any liquor that it embodies.
Months since you pre-ordered, but as a show of good faith, we made this promotional video for you. And this is where things went from tardy to retardy. Right there. Did you catch that? That's just a regular industry bottle and a plastic shell. We paid $80 and waited a quarter of a year for a plastic shell?
Well, quarterly profits. Like I said, they wanted to release their profit statements for the, September. So it would have been the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter profits, they're hoping they can just cut corners on.
People were not happy. Look at that ratio. Nothing in the marketing said that it was a plastic shell. Super premium, we were promised.
Guys, what did you expect? What do you expect?
And the media.
It's Bethesda. Bethesda's making a rum. This is like trusting Ryan Reynolds to make a rum. Ryan Reynolds can barely make a movie, but you think he can make a gin? George Clooney's been trying to stop poaching in Africa for 3 decades. There's still plenty of poachers. Why would he be good at making tequila? Also, George. His first name is George. He won't know how to make a tequila. How could you possibly allow him to become a successful brand?
You agree. People began cancelling their orders. Silver Screen tries to convince people that it's not cheap and shitty. It actually cost us twice as much to make the plastic one than the glass one. Then what the fuck? We spent 100 hours coding the design. Convincing stuff. So it arrives, just a few days before Christmas. The rum is about the quality you'd expect.
Can I swear on this? It's my own show.
Worse is the design. The oversized lip means liquid can pour inside the shell.
Hard to pour because how they made this damn thing. I spilled like half the shot.
Very dribbly.
So you're best off opening the whole thing up to prevent spilling. If you do that, there's a good chance that you'll snap the flimsy plastic. Any liquid will immediately ruin this cheap paper sticker. Some made their own at home and the quality was about on par. But look, if you do want a decent version of this product, there are reputable sellers of them. They're on Etsy. They're far cheaper, and they actually give a shit. Not gonna lie though, some of the memes that came out of this were pretty good.
I mean, that's man, I'm telling you, not brought to you by Etsy, but damn, Etsy has delivered like several times because they don't try to be, because they're sellers. I mean, for real talk, I had my engagement ring made on Etsy. I had my wife's like engagement ring sort of made on Etsy. It was Etsy, and then we used another designer. The point is, it's been good to us. It's been really good, right? But it's not because I'm buying it from Etsy. I'm buying it from an independent seller who, again, who doesn't need to fight to make quarterly profits, right? Being an honest person with great reviews is what gets you, is the right business decision in the long term, right? Only in the short term, quarter to quarter, the way investors think, the way speculators think, that's where you produce this sort of drivel, right? It's only when you yourself are the owner and the only investor, the only profit taker of an enterprise, that the longest term view becomes important.
Now, many claim that this was an honest mistake.
Sorry.
Or that customers were at fault for misinterpreting ambiguous marketing. I disagree. All of the marketing shows other glass items. All of the mock-ups show something more akin to frosted glass than plastic. They give plenty of descriptions of the product too, and not once do they mention plastic. And they were engaged in a bunch of other tomfuckery as well. Before the product was even available, they flooded their own product reviews with a bunch of 5 stars. This raised some eyebrows, and people on Reddit even called them out for it, so they deleted them. You can see all this activity on the way back.
God, it's just like the level of marketing sophistication contrasted to the unsophisticated, cheapo efforts to develop the game is just astounding.
Machine. Now, if they're happy to deceive people in this way, it seems silly to give them the benefit of the doubt about the glass. It's also worth quickly talking about the Bethesda merch store. Some of these items are pretty neat. That's cool. Good idea. I'd have that. Fallout 76 pant. Singular. But why is he so mad? The photography is all just slightly off. This gaudy jacket was mocked relentlessly on social media. But does the
It's pretty bad.
$76 and $276 really make it more immersive? And why did they just toss it on the ground? And it comes in this crumpled up toddler body bag. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in merch and you don't have an eye on?
I mean, again, $260 should be a really high-end leather jacket, right? Truly, guys, go to a store. Don't ever buy branded stuff, right? Just don't. I mean, you can see with this mug, right? I ordered it for myself, and it's my own mug, right? And look, man, what is with this? You don't have a black mug? And yeah, this is my own merch, but obviously I'm doing it through Teespring, and yeah, this is why a lot of creators have gotten away from Teespring, and maybe I should too. Though my newer mug looks way better, as do anyone that's white, right? The white looks awesome. You guys can see it in the other videos. The stencil gas mask, that actually looks fine, right? But if you're gonna buy, $300, dude, never. Not even my own merch. Never spend $300 on my own merch. I will not. I will refund you.
Why is she wearing the size XXL? She's clearly not happy about it. But who looked at this and said, "Good job, print"? Now that's surprising. And what the fuck? They made the bottle properly. Yeah, one of those, please, but bigger and brown. Is that so hard? Let's get back to the game. December 2018. There are 2 new patches released that caused quite a stir. First, the good. For PC, they included a number of quality of life improvements, including push to talk.
Push to talk didn't feature in the original game. Jesus.
But it also brought in field of view sliders. Hooray! Increased stash capacity from 400 pounds to 600 pounds, and a small buff to automatic weapons. Hooray! They decreased the carry weight of bobby pins so it no longer took up 10 to 20% of people's inventory.
I got a box of bobby pins the other week that said weigh these.
There were also upgrades to the camp that allowed for easier construction, and a bunch of bug fixes. Hooray! The bad.
Jesus Christ.
A whole bunch of unannounced stealth nerfs. They generally made the game grindier. Ammo production was decreased, fusion cores burnt out faster, legendary enemies spawned less frequently.
On guard, I'll fuck you up.
And the backlash.
Oh wow, interesting. It's almost like it's trying to turn into pay to win to get people to buy stuff from their store.
Was significant because everybody knew why Bethesda was doing it. To encourage people to use the atomic shop.
That's the profit margin for this quarter.
And let's talk briefly about that store. Some of the prices are outrageous. A Christmas tree for $12, a Santa outfit for $20, blue and yellow paint for $18. Oh look, $3 for the same sweater vest and slacks item imported from Fallout 4. But the biggest offense of all was the holiday emote bundle. $24 for some Christmas-themed emotes, twice the price of these games. The media agreed that these were egregious prices.
I mean, here's the other thing, right? If you know about human psychology, you know about the foot in the door effect. And the foot in the door effect says that once you get people to do a small, low commitment iteration of something, you are much more likely to get them to do a larger commitment iteration of that. So in this case, the number one thing you should try to get new players of your game to do is purchase the smallest possible amount of money so that they for the highest return, so that you normalize it through the foot in the door effect. So what you would want is to have maybe one or two really desirable items that really enhance gameplay for 99 cents or less, so that they go through, they enter their credit card information, they click purchase, and then they've done it once. Because the next time, then they're going to think a little less long and a little less hard about their next 99-cent purchase or their next $5.99 purchase, right? This is how you do it. But it requires time, and it requires a game that people persistently play over time, both of which it doesn't appear that Bethesda was willing to invest.
But worse, they're engaged in some deceiving marketing practices too. Oh look, it's marked down half price. But it's not. It was released half price. They're artificially jacking up the price, only to then give it a fake limited time discount.
Yeah, FYI guys, everyone does this. Every company.
In order to create a sense of urgency. That's illegal, here in Australia at least, in Canada and in the EU. Reddit quickly picked up
in the US, it's business as usual, caveat emptor.
Up on this and pointed it out. Bethesda reacted by scrapping the discount and just setting it as the always intended price.
Once again, guys, you can see that these regulations don't mean anything if they're not enforced. With no enforcement mechanism, or no ability to, say, sue them for deceptive advertising, it doesn't matter. These consumer protection agencies often exist almost on paper only. They're so underfunded and understaffed that companies know that as long as they are not doing something that is so egregious that the media picks up on it, they basically can be reasonably certain they'll never actually get called out on these deceptive practices.
Okay, it's been about 25 minutes of whining now, so I'm just going to leave it here. I didn't even get a chance to touch on the new pay-to-win fiasco. The new camera item that lets you teleport, dwindling player numbers. But on the flip side, they're also adding new content and improving the game over time. Heck, No Man's Sky was a surprising comeback. So, maybe Bethesda can do it too.
Yeah, the difference is the incentives. Bethesda has no incentive to improve this game.
But for now, Todd returns to cryostasis, hiding in his bunker until the bombs of outrage stop falling, and returning only when it's time to get our hopes up once again.
For another crappy Fallout cash grab. Them and Games Workshop should have a chat.
CuriosityStream.com/internethistorian.
There we go, guys. Man, CuriosityStream better have paid him some good money. That is a double ad insert right there. All right, gents, thank you so much for joining me on this journey into corporate BS. I can't even call it corrupt because it's like, it's so normalized, right? It's barely even Like, for it to be corrupt, it has to be, exceptionally bad. But this is just business as usual now, right? Buy any piece of junk on Amazon, and this is what you're going to get out of it, right? Fake reviews, fake everything. Not to be too dark, but you guys know it. We all live in the same world. We see this stuff. And it's only going to get worse because of all the supply chain disruptions. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Be sure to become a channel member. Those are the guys who suggested this video to me. That's the join button right next to the subscribe button. It gives you access to exclusive rooms on the Discord, the right to submit and vote on my Friday reaction video, priority access to join my party on stream when I stream multiplayer games, sometimes through Steam, and emojis in the chat, which I really want to try to add some more to. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for doing this, and I will see you next time.